Vintage paperback Halloween special. Freaks, Errors, and Oddities. Hi, I'm Gary Lovisi, and do not adjust your TV. We're going to look at some oddities, some freaks, and some errors in paperback publishing and some hardcover books also. Take a look. First of all, we're going to look at some books that are off register. And one of them is Bantam 720, Action at Three Peaks by Frank O'Rourke. Very nice Western. And you can see the off register of the color, the yellow, the yellow and the red. And this happens in the in the printing process. Excuse me, when the hasn't been aligned properly. The images haven't been aligned, so this off registered, and you get some pretty interesting. It gets very blurry. Gets very very weird. Another one is Blood of the Lamb, Adele by Charles Baker. And here you see another kind of dramatic look of off registration. And you can see these books. Some people look at these books and they see them as a flaw, and others see them as an interesting variant, kind of collectible, interesting thing. Very, very different. You can see here the yellow here is very off. It's almost a quarter of an inch up above the red for blood, and it just distorts the image. You don't even know, like, sometimes what you're seeing. It's so weird. This is a Del Map back, and on the back, it's just very confusing, like what's going on there, because everything's off register again. And another one is interesting one is This Deer Encounter by Katherine Hunter. It's a Signet Giant, and this is really blurry, and it's not your eyes that are deceiving you. It's the off registration of the printing on the cover of this book. It's so off that you see double on the title and the author's name, and the images of the man and woman on the cover here are just so blurry that it's hard to even make out what the actual cover looks like. To show a little bit of a difference between a book that has this problem of the registration error and one that doesn't. This is a Playtime book, Richard E. Geis, Whistle Them Willing, and you can see here the off register and a copy that's more clear and registered properly. You can see how this is just kind of blurry, and this one's a little much more sharper. Another one is Gunsmoke at Buffalo Basin, a Avon Western, number 843 by Paul Evan Lehman. And you see that Western. It's off register also. The guy's all blurry. Other mistakes are interesting, that the books are miscut. So on this one, this is a Sleaze book, Passionate Vixens. It's an all-star book. And here you have, it's just the book is miscut. And it's not, the book isn't miscut, but the cover is miscut. So it's on both sides, it's short. So they probably should have cut this, but they didn't.
They didn't trim the page.
They didn't trim it, so it's untrimmed. The next one we're going to look at is really kind of a weird one. Another Sleaze book. It's Swing Your Partner's Wife, and this is the book. It's a Sleaze book by from original prize volume. Okay, but then when you open it up, you actually have a partially printed two-color of another book cover, another book, as they use for the cover. So what they did was they printed some of the covers for this book. They didn't continue the printing. They must have had leftovers, and they just used the other side, and they printed this book cover. So they just utilized whatever they had to for the benefit of that.
Well, it cost. I mean, why throw it away if you can use it?
Why throw it away? I guess and Sleeves publishers were notoriously they didn't waste anything. They rebound books that didn't sell and with different covers and to sell them again. Next one is a gold medal, Cat's Paw Ordeal by Edward Rons, number 133. This is an interesting crime novel, and this is a binding error where the book has been. Of course, you can see that the title that should be on the spine is actually on the cover here, and when you look at the spine, there's nothing almost because it's so skewed over. And the back cover, of course, this should have been centered properly. So this whole thing should have been moved over, but it wasn't, and they really made a mess-up job of it. But it's an interesting variant or an interesting error, and people do collect these kinds of mistakes and these kind of errors. They're interesting, and people like them. Just as people collect stamps that have errors, upside down airplane airmail stamp, or the coins that have dates on them, but different, wrong images or wrong dates. So there's always errors in that, and the same thing with paperbacks and book publishing in general. There's errors, and a lot of them are really interesting. The next one we're going to look at is King's Rebel by James Horman. It's a Bantam book, and interesting thing about this is the cover. There's two covers. Actually, this was bound, came loose, but this was bound, the book was bound with two covers and sold with two covers. It's the same cover, not a reprint. It was just bound, and they put another cover on it, and when it went out to be sold, the two covers, it was bought like this. Now, more similar, in a similar vein, but different, is Charles Willeford, The Woman Chaser by published by Carolyn Graff. It's a hard-boiled crime novel, Charles Willeford, and you'll see it's a little, something's wrong with it. And something's wrong with it is that it's got another cover on it. So what happens? They bound, and actually this is not The Woman Chaser. This is Vermilion Sands by J.G. Ballard, a science fiction novel. And what happened is they bound the book, and then they bound the Charles Willeford cover on it, the publisher. So this was bound by the publisher, and they just a mistake. They must have had this in the machine, in the binding press and the binding machine. When they ran the new books, the Ballard book through, they had one of these left in there, and they bound it, and it went through, and it ended up binding this hard-boiled crime Charles Willeford novel to a science fiction book by J.G. Ballard. It's really weird. Another one similar is The Shadow Man by F.M. Parker. It's another Western. It's a Signet book, and this one was bound. So this is book is The Shadow Man by F.M. Parker, but I can't read that upside down. What does this say? This is another F.M. Parker book. Cold Iron. It's Cold Iron as actual book. And when you look, you see that there's two covers bound on, and that's Cold Iron. So this is the actual book. This cover is supposed to be on the book of this book. And what happened is when they bound it, they bound this other cover by the same author to it. And it's bound on there. It's very strange. Very strange. But at least they got the author right, if not the book. Then you get like things like this, which is like kind of amusing. There's an old boys adventure, school adventure novel, and it's Buddy and his chums, and you see his chums here. But when you look at the actual book, it's Buddy and his chum. He only has one chum, one friend. And you look at but where's the mistake? Because it's like, it is Buddy and his chum, and here's his one chum. But when they did the dust jacket, it became Buddy and his chums, and he's got two chums, and he's got a few more on the spine. He's got all these chums, Buddy and his chums. So it's just it's like an amusing little thing, like probably the cover artist, when he did the dust jacket, just made a mistake. There's a lot of things like that, a lot of mistakes. We're going to show a few of those too. In 1973, Philip Jose Farmer came out with Doc Savage's Apocalyptic Life, a fictional biography of the pulp hero character. A really cool book. It's a hardcover book from Doubleday. Interesting thing, nice dust jacket. Interesting thing, it's just such a nice dust jacket that on this book, we did it twice. So it's like when I bought this book, I bought it, and the dust jackets were so, tightly, perfectly fitted together that I never noticed until I got home that, hey, there's two dust jackets on this book. And it's kind of interesting kind of situation. This is a big book from the I'm not sure when it came out. This was originally it's Murder Off Miami by Dennis Wheatley. It was originally a British, what it is, it's a true crime murder book. So what it has, it's an early book that has the Western Union telegram, all kinds of stuff about this murder. It's not a true, it's not an actual murder, but it's what an actual murder book would look like. It has pictures, it has samples of hair, all kinds of things in it. And the thing is, it was originally published in England, and then it was reprinted. Here's the original one at a 3/6 cover.
Open the dust jacket.
Price.
It's under, right?
Open the dust jacket. Oh, okay. So all right. So that is the original. This is the original. Okay. I didn't know that they did that with the dust jacket for the American edition. So this is the American edition, but it reprints. It doesn't even reprint the British edition. It just puts a dust jacket over it, and that's a 3/6 cover price. And the thing that's interesting about it is there was an error in here in the binding. They have this memo, and they have some pages here, and then right next to it they have the memo and the same pages twice. So they made a mistake on this. This must have been a biatch to collate because all the pages, He had different colors, different sizes, different types of, you know, all kinds of things here. And this is the reports and police reports and all of that of the murder. That has cigarette butts and hair samples and match samples and all kinds of things. This is really early, and you know, since then similar things have been done, but this is one of the really early ones, and it's pretty scarce. My magazine, Paperback Parade, even had a situation a few issues back. This is number 108. My printer made a mistake, and they published the book with so the insides were all correct. Everything was correct. This was supposed to be the cover, and the issue has all the contents, everything the way it was supposed to be for issue number 108, except they put the cover for number 107 on. So that was the only thing you do in a situation like this is chuck the magazine or strip the covers, or in this case we did a dust jacket for the cover that's supposed to be on, which is number 108, and that's the only dust jacketed issue of Paperback Parade in 113 issues. This is the one that has a dust jacket on it, and that's the reason is because the printer put the wrong cover on the when he bound it. It was a binding error. It was an error on the picking the cover, and this is a similar thing that happens quite a few times with publishers and with printers. Once you're the publisher, the editor, you know, you edit a book or a magazine, you give everything to the publisher sends it to the printer, and then once the printer has it, you don't know what the heck's going to happen. So there's all kinds of things that go on. Oddities, freaks, variants. Here's a couple that interesting. This is the first printing of Pocketbook 259, Ellery Queen's Halfway House. And the interesting thing about this is, so they published these at the same number, the same publication date, month and year. Okay, pocketbooks. But this one is bound at the short end, like the Armed Service editions. So you see, when you open it up, it's Halfway House. So this is like the Armed Service edition, if you're familiar with those. I've done some videos on them to show them that they were bound oblong at the short end, and it's the same number, same printing, same year and month and year, okay, but very, very different books. And interesting thing is this difference in a variant. This one could cost you maybe a nice copy $20, and this one a nice copy $200. This is very, very rare. So that's just a variant oddity. And here's another one that's a variant and an oddity, which turned out to be an error, and that's door book number 459. I hear bells. 459, Charles R. Saunders, Imaro, and there's a Ken Kelly cover. And an interesting thing about this book is that, well, the actual first print, they're both first printings from 1981, paperback originals, but this is actually the first printing, and this is the censored version. And the reason why is, I don't know if anybody can, if you can pick out, look at the two covers, and if anybody can pick out the difference. So I'll give you a second to take a look. And what the difference is that on the first printing, it's the epic novel of a black Tarzan. Charles R. Saunders is an African-American writer, and he's writing about a black jungle hero, kind of a black Tarzan. Well, they didn't like the idea of using Tarzan because they felt it infringed upon the rights. I guess it was Edgar Rice Burroughs and Company, or maybe whoever owned the rights to Tarzan and Burroughs properties. They didn't want to have the Tarzan used, so it had to be changed. A new cover was printed, same cover art, title, everything, not same number, same publication date, all. And this was the epic novel of a jungle hero, not a black Tarzan. On the back cover, same thing. I can't read here. I have to see. Amaro's saga will be compared with that of Conan and of Tarzan and other heroes of history. I can't see where it is. Yeah, okay, so Tarzan. And then here they have Conan and other heroes of history. They take out Tarzan. So that's the Amaro. And of course, this one, The True First, is it's quite scarce, very collectible, and both books are really good adventure, heroic fiction. Another classic is Larry Niven's Ringworld from 1970, one of his early books. Ringworld was a science fiction novel about a world that's made in a ring. And what happened, though, in the first printing of this book, Niven got the mathematics incorrect. He had the world spinning the opposite of way that it would be spinning. So he had to change that in the subsequent printings, have it spinning the proper way. Next one is again this oddities. This isn't an error. It's just a kind of a gimmicky book, and that's Too Much by Donald Westlake. This is with the fuzzy cover. I guess they call it the fuzzy cover. It's got a little fuzzy here, and the girls in the bikini have fuzzy bikinis. So it's a cool little oddball item. You don't really see that often. It's nice, and it's a Donald Westlake. The last one is something interesting. It's something that I really like. It's this is a General Electric company, and it's a mailer to a fellow who lived in Schenectady, New York in 1947. This was sent out to him. This is the original package that was sent to him, that was sent in, and inside what you have is a Bantam book. You have Bantam number A1. The A series is about 5 or 6 books in this Bantam A series, and they are very hard to find, some of them, and quite scarce. This is one that's really hard to find. Men and Volts at War by John A. Miller. And this edition was sent with a notice from General Electric about how this is sent to employees of the company, and it talks about how they had fought to win the war in World War II, and it has all kinds of really nice photos of General Electric's manufacturing plants. Shows they made ships, they made everything, tanks, everything for the war effort to win the war, and this went to all the employees to thank them and to build up the morale of this is one of the ships that they made. It's a really beautiful book. It came out in 1948, and it was copyright 1947 by General Electric. So here's the book with the actual. Let's take a look at the cover again. Really nice cover art. I think Walter Pop did some of the covers for this A series. There's about maybe 5 or 6 of them. And here's the book with the little flyer, and the actual mailing package that it came in. So, had a look at some freaks, some oddities, and some errors on this Halloween special. Hope you enjoyed this look at these group of books. All of them, there's something different about all of them. They're collectible, they're curiosities, they're fun and cool, and you don't usually see this kind of stuff, so I wanted to have you take a look at some of these that I have in my collection that I thought you might enjoy. Well, happy Halloween, everybody, and me and my 6 eyes are going to go and I can do some reading. I can do some reading now. I can read maybe 3 books at a time. If you like this crazy video, give us a thumbs up and a like, and share it with friends. And let me know about any freaks and oddities and some books that you've come across, because I'm sure you have. And thanks a lot for looking. See you next time.